Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Pack. It's episode 7 of Let's Talk Pack.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, I know you guys have been waiting. It's been a while, but Roy's back with me.
Yeah. Glad to be back. It's going to be a good time. So
Yeah. So how's your week been going, Roy?
it's been good. There's been some ups and downs, some hiccups, on the farm, but everything gets smoothed out eventually. And I went to go see Eric Church last night.
Right.
That's what came up. And then I don't know if you saw the highlight. He was singing a variation of Go Pack Go.
Nice.
And maybe Lambeau will do that against the Bengals. That's the
Right.
next home game. So.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear, having fun on a Thursday night.
Yeah,
We're
it's
recording
good.
this on a Friday night,
That's right.
and this is how we kind of spend our Friday night,
Yeah, it's a good time. How about you? What's been new in your world?
Nothing too much really. Just doing a lot of editing. It's been busy last couple of weeks just with editing video for clients and things like that. Went to a wedding last weekend.
Nice.
Had a little bit of fun there. Maybe too much fun. We'll leave that out. Because we can leave that in because obviously everybody knows that I made that wedding pretty much fun in a way. But had fun at the wedding. Came back home and unfortunately came back to a big surprise in, the Packers in a way.
Yeah.
And kind of going off that right now, the Packers just leaving a goose egg in Cleveland and leaving it there.
Yeah, it definitely was not a good game, but you know, there's been a lot of talk of people are so worried about the Packers now, or Jordan Love's not good, and I think this was a Week 3 game against an AFC opponent, against the top defense in the league in a lot of categories,
Right.
and it wasn't a good performance, like you said. It was a goose egg. It didn't look good. There was a lot of penalties. But I'm hopeful that this next week, will be good.
Right.
But it was not pretty to watch, not fun to watch.
Right.
And it was one of those games where you felt like the offensive players on both teams, their legs were stuck in the mud, nothing was happening. And I thought I was at least going to be rewarded with a win after watching that terrible performance overall. Right. It just wasn't pleasing to the eye. And then all of a sudden it was a loss, and I was just like, flip a table, I'm out of here. Right. I was just like, what is this?
I felt the same way too. So for me, I came home pretty much a little bit hungover. I mean, I'll just say it straight out. I was hungover.
I went to a wine fest the day before, and I was hungover too. So yes, I was.
I was pretty much hungover off of vodka and Patron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not the best combination. Not recommended for anybody out there who likes drinking and things like that. Just don't do it. But yeah,
we're gonna sound like a bunch of alcoholics.
Well, yeah, we're gonna sound
like hungover watching the Browns Packers.
But thinking about it, just watching the game, I felt like I was like hungover because I was like, this game just reeks of a lot of things right now. The offense couldn't even get going.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Yeah, I understand it's a top defense in a lot of ways, but I hope that there was going to be some answers, and it looked like that in the third quarter. There was some movement, there was some quick passes, and I thought, okay, they got it going, they got it rolling. They're just going to have to keep doing that, but then they didn't,
right?
Which confused me because I thought, okay, I can see it's working,
right?
But now they're not doing it anymore,
right?
And long story short, yeah, it was not a good game,
right?
Yeah.
Looking at the game itself, Jordan Love was just under pressure all game.
Yes.
Sacks galore, 5 sacks.
Yeah.
If you can't, and that's half the reason why the offense wasn't rolling, was because you can't protect your franchise quarterback, and he was just under duress all game.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line was a wreck. I think I heard from somebody that this was probably the worst offensive line play they've seen from the Packers in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And that says a lot.
It does. And like you said, it's not only the under pressure, but there was all sorts of pre-snap penalties with, the false starts, and there was also the time's coming down to 0. Let me call a timeout. Things just weren't looking very good.
Time
overall.
Mismanagement.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of disorganization on the Packers offense.
Yeah.
It's something I'm not used to seeing,
And, leading into the week, I heard reports, interviews from Jeff Hafley, and I think Matt LaFleur also said that they were, not necessarily concerned, but they brought the attention to that it was going to be a road game, their first road game, and the dog pound, and it's going to be, something, hard to overcome. And it looks like that actually came to fruition. It looked like, okay, with the false starts, they couldn't quite hear the cadence. And yeah,
Right.
Morgan was playing on the, outside when typically he's playing guard, but he maybe didn't hear it quite, right. And,
Right.
But the point is that was their first road game. And I think that also maybe contributed to some of their inability to, kind of get their performance to what we are used to seeing.
Right. And I just think we were talking about it earlier, Packers defense did its job.
It
Holding
did.
they held the Browns to 10 point. Well, they held the Browns to 0 points in 3 quarters.
Yeah, 3.5 quarters.
3.5 quarters.
3 3/4 quarters. It
Yeah.
was, yeah.
So typically when your defense holds the offense to to 13 points in a game, you'd think the Packers would win.
We think, yeah.
You'd think that.
You would take that every single week of the NFL. If you put up if your defense allows 13 points, you'll take that every week.
Right.
Every single week. I'd love that.
Yeah.
But you'd expect to win
Right.
probably, 100% of those games
Right.
almost,
Exactly. But then you kind of look at the offensive stats, and it's like, well, the Packers couldn't get the ground game going. Josh Jacobs only had 30 yards.
Yeah.
And that's very rare for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
When you're held down in check like that, then you rely on the passing game.
Yep.
But then when the passing game doesn't work, it's because the offensive line can't block that well. You don't give enough time for Jordan Love to make those big chunk plays.
Yeah.
Those chunk plays that we saw over the first 2 weeks, against the Lions, against the Commanders.
Yeah.
You saw the Packers just kind of like dink and dunk it most of the time.
Yeah.
But that's all Jordan Love could afford.
They had, yeah. Because otherwise, if there was a long developing play downfield, you don't have time for that.
Right.
You're getting sacked, And
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, just again, all in all, just not a very good performance by Packers on Sunday.
Yeah.
But coming in to this week, the Packers are probably going to have to get over this loss pretty easily right now because
they got to do it pretty fast.
Yeah. And I talked about earlier, actually last week I talked about it. The Packers couldn't take the Browns easily. It looks like they did. And
see, I heard that going into that week that it was a trap game, right? Everyone says, "Oh, don't overlook the Browns because it's a trap game, but they should win easily, or maybe not easily, but they should win." And I was actually at that wine fest I was talking about, and I was talking with a friend, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna roll over the Browns tomorrow." And I said, "I don't think it's gonna be a rollover. I don't think we're just gonna go in there and beat them up because they have such a good defense, and we haven't played a good defense yet, And I thought we were going to win still.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a 17-10 win.
I think it just crept into their heads too.
Yeah.
Last week we had Rasheed Walker talk about.
As soon as I heard that, and I said, "Don't, come on."
Yeah.
I get it. I get the confidence. Keep that internal though. You know?
But that's the thing, and I think it was kind of frowned upon because Matt LaFleur did bring it up this week that it's 1-0, like 0-0 coming into the game. It's one game at a time. But he didn't like the fact that, some players were thinking ahead. It's like, I get it's the NFL and you have all these, you got all these people, including, us sometimes, when we post this podcast, we expect them. It's like a lot of expectations on them. Like you get the sports media world, kind of like keying into like the Packers are the best team in the NFL right now.
They look biggest, like it, for a while.
And they're the biggest threat to the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's a lot. That says a lot.
It does.
But at the same time, those are just words. If it doesn't translate on the field, those words mean absolutely nothing.
I think Walker was probably the only one that maybe took it a little too far because Parsons and McKinney, they were both asked similar questions about like, oh, how do you feel as a team and whatever. And Xavier McKinney said, "There's a lot of teams that started off 2-0 that didn't do," and then he used an expletive.
Oh yeah.
And so we can't just get ahead of ourselves. And Micah Parsons was asked, like, "Do you think you're the best defense in the league?" And he basically said, "We can be, but we still got to prove it."
Right.
And so he didn't say, "Oh yeah, we are. We're number one."
Right.
He said, "We can be, like, we got to prove it." And then, you said it was Rasheed Walker that said, "We're going to go undefeated," right? He's the one that said it. And he's the one that maybe just went on a little bit too far on a limb.
Right. And again, you're right though. Keep it internal, or like just
if you
don't
got that
say
confidence,
anything,
that's great. Like just don't put it out there for us to hear because I mean, it was fine. But,
right.
you just know that puts a target on your back. Then
Right.
oh, let's go show them.
Yeah. I think that the Packers kind of like overlooked the Browns, but now they have Dallas.
Yeah,
Dallas now is coming up, and it's a nationally televised game,
yeah. Sunday night
and
football.
yeah,
Carrie Underwood. It'll be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's on the biggest stage, and you have Micah Parsons making his comeback to Dallas, which
yeah.
it seems like everybody's making a big deal out of it. Micah Parsons seems like he's not making a big deal out of it. He's just it's another opponent, it's just my best friends on the other team, like
Yeah, and he has a suite down there that's gonna be filled with a lot of
right.
his family and friends, so,
And I
yeah.
think just previewing the game there, I think Micah is not taking this as like seriously, like not like taking the fact that the Cowboys trade him here as like as motivation in a way, just
Mhm.
because he knows it's part of the business, and he still has really good friends in Texas and
Oh, yeah,
Dallas,
definitely.
and I think the storyline is kind of, oh, Micah Parsons is making his way back to Dallas. He's gonna have a revenge game, things like that.
Yeah, and that's all part of the narrative, and
Yeah,
maybe, he's not playing to the narrative in the public, but I would have to think it means something to him
yeah,
a little bit more than, sacking Joe Flacco. If he would have had that opportunity last week, that might
right.
have been cool, that might have been fun, but, going down into, AT&T Stadium and Jerry World and lighting it up, I think he would take some satisfaction in.
Yeah,
But I also think that, if Jerry Jones, and his team down there double teams him and he doesn't get any sacks, but, RG, or Sean Gary on the other side,
yeah,
he's gonna eat.
yeah. I think he's gonna do pretty. Yeah, I think the and keep talking about it. It's the Michael Parsons effect.
Yeah.
You know, he makes everybody around him better. It seems like.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
think about it. Rashawn Gary used to be the one getting the double teams,
right,
and he could sometimes beat it. But if you're getting double teamed all the time, that's a lot of extra work. But all
right,
of a sudden, Micah Parsons is getting double teamed. You can't double team both these players,
right.
and so yeah,
Yeah,
it is the effect for sure
right.
because they usually key in on the best player,
Yeah,
and that is Micah Parsons now.
and
And Rashawn Gary
yeah,
was the best before. He's still really really good,
right.
and he's just he can win those one on ones.
Yeah,
So
and it seems like Lucas Van Ness is getting better,
yes,
and
he's getting better too.
he's
Yeah.
in his third year now, and this is kind of what we expected out of him.
Yeah.
But and I've heard people say that Micah Parsons is the biggest Lucas Van Ness fan. He
Yeah.
wants him to be better,
Yep.
and that says a lot for Van Ness, for somebody who was a high draft pick,
Mhm.
but didn't quite develop the right way that a lot
Yeah,
thought.
not in the first 2 years, and hopefully this year he pops
Yeah,
because, like you said, that Micah Parsons effect and being in the 3rd year, 2nd year in Jeff Hafley's system, so, yeah, I think that this is just kind of a perfect storm of having that defensive front of the Green Bay Packers just be solid, and also Micah Parsons, I think like I said, I think he's gonna have a decent game down there. If he doesn't have 4 sacks or whatever, like, don't think it's, because he didn't care because I think he cares. I think
right.
he wants to go down there, he wants to show him like, "Hey, man, like,
Yeah,
I'm worth something.
yeah,
You maybe didn't think I was,
yeah.
Mr. Jones, but
And I look at this defense right now, and yeah, they did great against the Browns, but
Mhm.
again, not enough to win.
Yeah.
Now they're coming into a game where the Dallas Cowboys offense is struggling as well. You have their star player, CD Lamb, is out for this game.
Yes.
And I asked you this earlier before we record this podcast. Where is their offense coming from? Or
Yeah.
where's the
George
production? Yeah,
Pickens and
George Pickens. Do you rely on Dak
yeah.
Prescott? Do you rely on that running game?
Yeah.
And that's the thing too.
See, like,
We
they have been able to put up, decent numbers as an offense, like,
yeah
so far, especially against the Giants, but that's not really saying much, but
yeah
they have been able to put up a decent amount of yards and points, so I think that they will probably put up some points in this game.
yeah
More than 13, I would assume.
yeah
My score is they're going to be 17, as I think. But
yeah
anyways, long story short, yeah, where is their offense going to come from? Especially if our defense plays the way it has been playing.
hmm
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be, they're not
right.
going to score 30 points.
I think the question is too. Where's our offense gonna get our production from?
Yeah,
Because after last week, I kind of question it a little bit. Because yeah, great first 2 weeks, you're scoring 27 points.
yeah,
Now you laid a goose egg with
pretty
10
big goose egg.
points.
Well, the thing is, we played obviously the Browns last week. They had the fourth ranked passing defense. Do you know what the Cowboys is?
And, I think they're in the lower 20s,
Yeah, they're 32nd.
32nd. So they're
Yeah,
last in the
so
league.
they're last in the league.
Right,
But there's Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland
right.
have not been playing, and while they've been passing all over the Cowboys.
Yes.
So there could be maybe we don't light it up as much as some of these other teams, like the Bears last week lit it up against them.
Right.
We might not be as lucrative in the points department, but I think we're still going to be able to do a good job. So I think that's where that's going to come from, as long as our offensive line can hold strong.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we're missing two players for
Yeah,
sure,
two
and
players
then
for
one
sure,
is
yeah.
also, you said,
Is
doubtful.
doubtful,
Yeah.
which 25% chance of playing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a chance, but and the player we're talking about here is Aaron Banks. He's doubtful for this game.
Yeah.
Two other players that are out are Zach Tom
Yep.
and Elton. Oh, not
Anthony Belton.
Anthony Belton. The
Yeah.
Escalade. The
Yeah, the
Escalade.
Escalade.
Unfortunately, the Escalade has
Yeah.
a flat tire right
Yeah,
now.
he's in the shop.
Yeah, he'll be parked in the shop in a little bit.
That's a good. That's
But
good.
unfortunately, yeah, and we talked about it earlier this year. I think on one of the podcasts about the Packers' offensive line depth,
Mm-hmm.
and right now it isn't looking good.
Yeah, it's being tested.
It's being tested very much because right now you're looking at your starting five on the offensive line. Right now you are looking at you're basically looking at maybe three starters. So Alden Jenkins is for sure there.
Yeah.
But then
Rasheed
Walker is there, and then
Sean Ryan.
Sean Ryan, and then basically then you get the two new starters there, which Jordan Morgan, that's your guard right there. He can play either guard or tackle.
Yep.
And then you got Kennard, who's basically your tackle.
Yeah.
After that though, you don't have that much depth in terms of offensive line play.
Yeah.
You get one guy that gets injured, it's gonna get tested. And I told you earlier, I thought that, one guy gets injured, you're basically having an unknown player in there. And it's like you don't know who's gonna step up.
Yeah.
And
Jacob Monk.
It's like
are they gonna call some people up from the practice squad?
Yeah.
Just to have that extra depth.
And the scary part is too, you have a familiar face on the other side of the defense here with Kenny Clark.
Yes. And he's great at run defense, and like you said, we haven't necessarily been getting our Josh Jacobs going.
Right.
So that may not happen again. And they actually rank 17th in the league right now for rushing defense. The Cowboys do. So they're middle of the pack. They're not terrible. They're not 32nd.
Right.
But maybe their run defense is a little bit better because Kenny Clark is there.
Yeah. And I think that's another storyline that's very flying under the radar here.
Yeah.
You got Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark played since 2016 in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And he was the longest tenured Packer on the roster before they decided to trade him. And
also he's still in his 20s right now.
Yeah,
and I just heard this fun fact that the last game he's going to play in his 20s is this Sunday, because then he turns 30. So it's kind of funny that he played almost every single game either with the Packers or against the Packers in his 20s.
And it's just, I just look at it this way, and I think that Kenny Clark kind of was like the mainstay for the Packers. He's like the rock of the Packers defensive line.
Yeah.
To trade him away, and then it still seems like the Packers defensive line is doing fine.
I think they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in an interview, Kenny Clark did say that he was very shocked to find out that he was getting traded, because he had heard about Micah Parsons being traded. He just didn't know
that he was
part of it.
And I feel so bad because this is obviously Kenny Clark tangent, but like I listened to an interview before the season, and he was talking about how, like, I'm getting old, but I want to win a championship. And this was the best year, I think, that he had to win a championship, from here to the end of his career.
Yeah.
Here in Green Bay. And I was excited because I was like, dude, like, he's got the mentality. He's the leader of the defense. And then he gets traded, and it was just like, man. Because I feel for the guy, because he's put in basically a decade here in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And a really solid decade. And he said, what does he want to be? They asked him, what does he want to be remembered for? And he said, consistently putting out a good effort and a good play. And that's what he did. He was so consistent.
Right.
And I mean, last year he had a down year a little bit, but that turns out he was dealing with, I think it was a turf toe issue or something.
Right.
But anyways, I feel so bad for him because this was the best defense that we were going to have we've had in a long time, and that he was a big part of it. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, he's not going to be here when we win that Super Bowl on February 8th of 2026.
Yeah. I think he's a huge part of our defense. But at the same time too, I did see a little bit of aging there a
Yeah.
little bit. But I mean,
But
considering how this trade will turn out, I don't know.
yeah, I
We'll find
mean,
out down the road.
if you look at the long term, it was a no-brainer in that case of the trade, but it still doesn't mean that we don't miss him as fans, and I'm sure the locker room doesn't miss, they miss him as well.
Yeah.
What I did hear is that he's also kind of become a leader already on that defense,
Yeah.
which says a lot about him as a player and the effort that he shows, but then also
Yeah.
his leadership skills. So I wish him the
yeah.
best. Just don't do well this week. Or
Yeah.
just be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, just it's a big game for, both Packers fans, Cowboys fans that are out there. It's always been a big rivalry.
Yeah. Especially in my household, my
Yeah.
dad is a Cowboys fan, so
Yeah. In my household, there's not much. I mean, I've always hated Dallas. I
yeah.
mean, personally, I don't hate them, but like, I just don't like the team. Like, when I was younger, I remember just us constantly losing to them, and now that I'm in my 30s right now, and we're just dominant. It
Yeah, it's
seems
kind
like,
of been flipped a
yeah,
little
it
bit.
seems like the
Yeah.
Packers have Dallas's number, which like again, going into this game, do you want to be overconfident about that? Do you want to say that, hey, Dallas will beat them? Like it. It's
I want to say
almost
that. I'm
yeah,
going to say that,
yeah.
yeah.
It's almost like that Cleveland game. Like you have a team that's struggling
hmm
big time right now.
See, and that's where I thought if there was a trap game, it was going to be this one because of how um, they're basically on their back pedaling. Like they have to win,
Yeah,
right? And they have to win, or else they're going to be what 1-3.
1-3. Yeah. Well, that's the thing
I
too. Like
mean,
they have their backs against the wall,
exactly.
and
That's a dangerous team
yeah,
to
that's a
play.
very dangerous team. And the thing is, I've always heard this quote where it's like, what does a desperate team, what does a desperate person do when they desperately need something? They will do anything,
I was going to say they'll do whatever it takes.
whatever it takes
Yes.
to win this game, or
hmm
whatever it takes to get what they need. That's what the Dallas Cowboys are, because at
Yes.
this point, this the media, everybody is just picking on them constantly.
Desperate
You know,
Dallas.
desperate Dallas, exactly. And things are being said about Jerry Jones, the fact that the ownership there isn't very good, the management of the players there aren't very good, and that all stems from this Micah Parsons trade,
hmm
because again, I don't know if it's anything personal between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons, but they apparently had a handshake deal back in March. And that was the last time they talked about their contract,
Yeah. He
about
said the
Micah's
last time he
contract. Yeah.
talked to Jerry Jones was during OTAs.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get a call when the trade happened.
Right.
And then Brian Gutekunst, on the other hand, he said the hardest part about doing the trade was having to call Kenny. So he at least called Kenny.
Right.
Said, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
we're
And I
parting
think
ways."
too, there's very different. We're very different in the way our ownership is.
Yeah.
We're owned by a community and things like that. Whereas the Dallas Cowboys are the complete opposite.
Yeah.
They are owned by a man who is very, very rich,
Yeah.
that seems to want control of everything. And that's nothing against Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, he's successful for a reason. But right now, there's so much scrutiny around the way he's managing this team
Mm-hmm.
that it's like everybody's picking on them to basically fail at this point, because they look at this trade and they think, why would you trade your best player on defense when your defense is struggling right now? And right now, it doesn't look very well for the Cowboys.
No. Well, because when you can't get a pass rush, I mean, we saw what happened with the Packers. They couldn't get a pass rush with 4, so they had to send extra men last year.
Yeah.
When you can't do that, then they're going to be passing all over you, and
Right.
that's what's happening right now. That's why they're ranked the 32nd passing defense in the league, because they don't have a good pass rush.
Right.
And
And
other
yeah,
reasons, but that's a
yeah.
big one. That's a pretty big one.
And I think
So
the thing is too, Micah Parsons wanted to stay in
he
Dallas.
did, yeah.
He wanted to stay there. So if you want to stay there, you make that effort to give him what he wants.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Jerry Jones, the lack of communication between him and Parsons and his part of the team, like his agent, things like that, that all fell through.
Yeah.
And now like right now it doesn't look very good, but he's paying for it right now on defense. So again, though, I think that the Packers defense right now should be able to handle the Dallas offense.
I think so. Especially with that key injury of CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, CeeDee
Gonna be
Lamb.
out.
Yeah,
So
CeeDee Lamb was the majority of the Cowboys' offensive production.
And Micah Parsons, to bring him back, he said he's his favorite wide receiver in the league, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. Obviously, he was his teammate, but CeeDee Lamb puts up a lot of production.
Yeah, puts a lot of production. That's a lot, and that's a lot of production mixing for the Cowboys offense.
Exactly.
With that, I kind of want to just put out our predictions for the game because this is a big game. I think all Packerland here is looking forward to a win. I do think it's going to be a win, but I'm going to put it close here. I'm going to put 21-20.
Wow.
Packers with possibly game-winning touchdown.
Are you going to feel confident going in the bye week with that win?
I think I would feel confident, I think, but then it would scare me on defense a little bit because you allowed 20 points, but
yeah.
But I do feel confident in the Packers offense in bouncing back. Now, if the Packers offense doesn't bounce back, we can either blame it on two things. We can blame it on one, the offensive line.
Yeah.
Because, but that's the thing too. Like the offensive line is still again injured, but you're heading into a bye week, so
yeah.
Fingers crossed they get healthier during the bye week. But I do think they should go into this bye week with at least a win because if they don't, they're going into the bye week 2-2, and all that talk about the Packers being a Super Bowl contender kind of lowers down just a little bit. But I'm confident enough in the Packers offense to produce this game.
Yeah.
I think Dallas's defense is still not the best defense. Again, ranked 32nd. Should be a fun time for Jordan Love to at least get some offensive production.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. What's your prediction?
My prediction is 31-17 Packers. I think we're going to get above 30 points for the first time this season. And I think with, Jordan Love, when he's not under pressure, he's darn near perfect, right? And if we can, with their lack of pass rush, and obviously with Jordan Love, if he can be protected, I think that we will have a good game. I think he'll be able to dissect that defense and, make a lot of good throws. And the only reason I'm not even going higher on the points, like didn't the Bears score 38 or something? Is just because they're getting Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs back.
Yeah.
So with those guys coming back, I think that they're gonna have an effect.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be 30 or 40. It's not gonna be a 40+ point game, but I think 31 is a pretty solid number.
Yeah, and I think in the past the Packers have scored over 30 points. In Dallas.
It's as Mike McCarthy used to say, it's a fast track.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing too. That adds to this rivalry. And again, and I think about too, and I'll ask you this: how many shots of Jerry Jones do you think we're gonna see during the game? Like how many solo shots are we gonna see?
Oh my gosh, there's gonna be a lot, and hopefully he's looking frustrated because the Packers are just dominating.
Right.
So I hope that all these shots are gonna be of him just being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how bad we're doing.
Again, more scrutiny on Jerry Jones there, but I mean, I don't wish that upon him.
Gosh, there's gonna at least be like 12.
Yeah.
There's gotta be a ticker on there.
Yeah. A ticker on there. Take a shot every single time you see Jerry Jones on screen, or when you see a split screen of Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons on the field.
Yeah, it's got to be over under 11.5.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm going over.
Yeah, I offer that to the Packers fans. I won't personally be taking a shot every single time I see Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons on the same screen because.
Oh, you're talking about taking shots.
Shots.
Oh, I just thought you meant shots of him on there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do shots either.
Yeah,
But
I mean it's gonna be hard Monday. I mean,
yeah, yeah, you don't want to be hungover.
yeah, on a
Maybe
Monday.
shots of kombucha.
Yeah,
There you go.
kombucha. Yes,
Yeah,
kombucha or
it's fermented.
shots of 7 Up.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
a little bit of bubbly. That's
yeah,
good.
get a little bubbly in you. Hopefully we stay up the whole time
Oh, I
during the
will.
game. I,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I'll stay up the whole time. I do have to work the next day at 4, but
Oh,
not
jeez.
4. I have to wake up at 4, so I have to be at work around 7. But it's okay because most of the time with these Sunday night games, I just seem to stay. My heart gets anticipated, like for Packers games that are on Sunday night because my heart gets racing, and I feel like half the time when they play on Sunday night, like if they lose, I can't sleep very well. If they win, I still can't sleep. So it's a lose-lose for me. I really can't sleep
Yeah,
very
because you're
well.
excited about the win, but if they lose, then it's like maybe I
Yeah.
should have did those shots when I saw Jerry Jones.
A lot of times you'll find me like if the Packers are playing Sunday night, a lot of times after a game you'll find me like scrolling on my phone just looking for the press conference and things like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I love Sunday night. It's just I apologize to any of my clients or any of my coworkers that run into me that Monday morning because I'll be very tired. But at the same time, it's all love. It's all Packers love.
Yep.
But thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Let's Talk Pack. Again, episode 7. Hopefully we keep this rolling.
Yeah, let's keep it
Hopefully
going.
we get you back next week, but it's
Yeah.
okay if you're not back next week
Yeah.
because
I already had a 3-week bye,
yeah,
so
3 week bye. But then the Packers are on a bye
I
next
know,
week. So
right?
like
So
that's the thing. Like if the Packers are on a bye, then well we'll just do something fun there. But
yeah.
again, hope you guys enjoyed this. And until next time,
Go Pack, go.
go
Oh,
Pack. Well, you know what?
3, 2,
2, 1.
1.
Go
Go
Pack,
Pack,
go.
go.